Topic selection. So this part is really just picking a topic. And your topic, let's talk about what it needs to be. First of all, it has to be quantitative, meaning it has to be numbers. So you can't ask people a yes or no question. You can't ask them something they're going to give you a word answer for. You have to give something they're going to ask you a number for. So like for instance, you can't ask someone, do you drink coffee? That's a yes or no question. You can ask them, how many cups of coffee did you drink yesterday? And you always want to be really specific. Ask them something that they can sit down and you don't want them to guess. You want them to give you an actual finite number where they count in their head. So you don't want something that you couldn't ask someone, how many cups of coffee did you drink in the last month? No one can sit down and tell you that unless they drank zero. Okay, or they drink so little. But most people couldn't tell you that. They would have to guess. So you want to ask something that they can easily come up with a specific number for. Or that you can measure. For instance, things like screen time on your phone, you can actually, there's a lot of times that's in the settings, and if you know how to do that, that's something you could have people look up. Now, we're a little loosey-goosey on this last one. You must be random in the sense it should be representative. Do your best here. I'm not going to nitpick this too much because obviously this is for a school project. We're trying to get the best data sample we can in the time frame we can. So if you can get more than just your friends and family, that's a really good thing. You want to do as best as you can about getting random. You need at least 50 numbers, okay? So if you asked 50 people, how many cups of coffee did you drink yesterday? Now, again, this can be lengthy or it can be short. It depends. Asking 50 people a question, that's pretty easy. For the most part, you can very quickly get that type of data. Next time you go to class, you start asking people and writing it down. There's lots of the things that take a lot of time. It depends on how much time you have to put into it and how much time you want to put into it. There's also a lot of really easy information to get just off the web. For instance, you can easily pull the last 2 months of, the high temperature for your hometown. It's really easy to find online. You can do that in an hour sitting down transcribing numbers. Actually, probably less than an hour. Depends on how fast you type numbers. So again, think about what you want and think about where that data set's going to be. And again, some are a lot easier to get than others. It just depends. There's nothing wrong with an easy data set if that's one you're interested in. Make sure though when you do that, keep some sort of categorical label with your data. So for instance, if you were asking people how many cups of coffee did you drink yesterday, also record, say, gender. Or you could do a second quantitative variables like age, but you could also have something like, are you a student? Are you not a student? Are you a parent? Are you not a parent? It doesn't matter what it is, keep something else. The reason is that when we get to part 6, it's going to give you a lot more options if you have more than one, if you have something to divide it by. So, like between parents and non-parents, between students and non-students, between men and women. So for instance, you can see here, I give some examples. I went that and then I said, you could ask the number of kids. So whatever works for you, but you do want something to go along with that. For instance, the weather data, I said, well, if you do 2 months, well, you easily then have, you have March and you have April. Cool. You have 2 different labels right there. Now, to submit your topic, you actually need to schedule a meeting with me. So I want to actually talk to you in person in real time. We can do this Zoom, we can do this on the phone, or we can meet on campus, either Mat-Su or Anchorage. Now, if you want to do it via phone, you can just call me. My numbers are listed. You can call me whenever works. If I don't answer, I'll call you back when I can. If you want to, you can schedule a phone call as well too if you want to be sure I'm going to answer. In general, I don't answer if I'm driving or if I'm in class teaching. Now, if you want to Zoom, you do need to schedule it and just shoot me some times at work. I'm sure something will work. I'll shoot you back a Zoom link. If you want to do a campus meeting, I have scheduled office hours listed in my syllabus. You can come to those and just drop in. Otherwise, you can schedule it again, either Mat-Su or Anchorage, and let me know what works for you. This probably isn't going to take very long, but if we do it in real time, we can kind of hash out, make sure you've got all the pieces so that you're going to have a topic that is going to sustain you through all the different parts. I just want to make sure that you understand, you have data that's not just going to get you through part 2, but going to get you all the way through part 7. It's just easier any back and forth we can get this all done in 5 minutes versus having to email back and forth or go back and forth in a journal. Plus, I get to meet y'all, and that just is an added benefit. Now you can see that there is a due date for this. You do need to have it in. That's the due date. And as I've talked about, and if you've watched the project overview, the due dates are flexible. I'm not going to dock if you're in the day after, but if you get behind, that just takes away time for you to do later things. So you want to get this topic approved as soon as possible. So hopefully after you do this, maybe shoot me an email about when works for meeting with me.